Channeling Craig Casey. I called in the quarters and set sacred space. On the east, I call in air. We call in the winds of clarity and the whispers of truth. May every illusion be lifted. May Craig's final moments speak freely now. On the south, I call in fire. We ignite the flames of courage and divine will. Let no shadow distort what happened. May the truth blaze forward and protect all who carry it. On the west, we welcome water, the river of emotion, of soul memory. May Craig's emotional imprint surface gently, held in compassion and seen with love. On the north, we call in earth. We ground into the bones of the land, asking the earth to show us where Craig's body was really placed and how. Let the grid nodes reveal themselves. Above and below, we connect to source and anchor the light through our bodies. We ask to be conduits of pure perception, fully aligned with divine justice, remembrance, and restoration. So I offered a sip of water with intention as a gesture of rehydration and remembrance. In the air, I drew a small spiral clockwise, and I said, I call back pieces of Craig Casey's soul that were scattered in confusion, fear, or trauma. I seal the field with light. I declare the record to be known. The story will be heard, and the loop will not repeat. We are now the sacred witness. And then I said, Craig, I've taken time to learn more about your story, not just what happened, but who you were. I see your strength. I see the turning point. Congratulations on your sobriety and on founding the Boston Epidemic Warriors. That took guts. You're safe here because I'm in recovery too. You're not alone. This is a space of truth, love, and protection. If you're willing to share, I'm holding space with the deepest respect and clear intentions. Did you have a handler or someone influencing your movements? Who were you with on the last night of your earthly life? Is there anything about that night you want us to understand now? And what do you remember about your car, the location, or how you got out? And so I just listened, and it started flashing. The air around me started feeling warmer and thicker, like it's holding the breath. And Craig's spirit is more coherent. It's full. It's the fragments are starting to come back, washed in white light. So you call back the fragments, washed in white light, and you return the ones you do not need. His field is trembling, but it's slow, like a radio signal coming back into range. His energy is young and tender, like someone who hasn't been spoken to kindly in a long time. He stepped forward, but just a tiny bit, like I could hear the rustle of his steps, but I couldn't really see him. And Craig said, I didn't think anyone cared. They said I did this to myself. His voice is soft but steady. It doesn't feel like a full memory yet. It's more like the cellular truth is rising up. Remember when we were getting fragments can hold memories too? So this is where we are. He looks over his shoulder at Sandra and John, and then he looked back at where I was. And he said I wasn't alone that night. The words felt like someone dropped a stone in a still pond. And his energy flashes within this fragment. It's in a basement room. It was dimly lit. There was a folding table with someone or something lined up, like baggies or glass vials. And there were voices arguing. One was laughing, and a car engine was running too long in the cold. And then there was silence. I got in the car, but I don't remember driving. And there's pain behind his eyes, but not from injury. It's from betrayal. He trusted someone that was with him. Someone promised him a ride. Someone did something after he passed out or he was disoriented. A dark blue energy flickered behind him. It was still veiled, and I couldn't fully see it. It feels like the handler or the recruiter, a male. It's familiar and older. Maybe someone in a mentorship role offering him support. Craig's higher self leans in now. He's trying to give you what he can without triggering a collapse. And so I asked him, Craig, I offer you this water as remembrance of your life, your truth, and your voice. May it return to you. May it carry the memory of what happened, purified and protected. You are not lost, and you are not alone. And then I just paused, and I decided to do a soul retrieval so that we could speak to a whole Craig instead of fragments, and I'll record that in the next one. I've set sacred space and called in the quarters. We know that there was no windshield ejection. Windows appear intact. If Craig was truly ejected, where was he ejected from? The damage appears to be post-instant, not consistent with a chaotic crash site. Craig's trauma has been described as heavy, but not visibly bloodied or thrown from the car in the photos. None of the officers or neighbors saw him. Yet was he on Kevin Albert's lawn? Echoes exactly the John O'Keefe disappearance and then discovery pattern. I asked the car, "What happened to you? Who was behind the wheel? Show me through feelings or images what really occurred." Craig is nearby, but not fully emerged. I'm sensing a presence at the edge of the veil, watching me work, and he's surprised and a little overwhelmed by how clearly I can see the grid. His soul isn't scattered, but he feels like he's been quieted, not of his own will, but by something residual that muted his testimony. I might be picking up on a substance tether, not addiction in a moral sense, but a kind of energetic vulnerability or frequency gap that has been exploited. He feels like someone who got caught in the undertow of a much darker current he never intended to swim in. And I said, "Craig, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to free the record. Were you using that night? Were you set up because of it? Or was it used against you?" And I just felt I didn't know what I was in. I thought it was a crash until I woke up somewhere else. There was confusion, meaning that there's a gap in what physically happened and what his consciousness retained. This is common in traumatic ritual placements or MK Ultra trauma coding. So I lit a candle and I played Native American drum music and I said out loud, "Craig Casey, I invite your soul to speak. Through images, words, sensations, or dreams, you are safe. You are seen. The record is being rewritten. You do not have to carry this alone anymore." And then I just kind of give him some space. And I invited, if John and Sandra are around or anyone else that Craig knows on that side of the veil would like to step forward to give him a familiar face and or comfort, I invite them to join us now. And that opened up the portal. The energy shifted, and it's like I laid a blanket down in a field, and now everyone can sit down and gather around. Sandra Birchmore is already here. She stepped forward like a big sister. Not maternal, but strong. She's wearing a blue hoodie, and I hear her say, "I know what it feels like when no one believes you, but we believe you now, Craig." And she puts a hand on his back. He seems almost surprised to see her. He knows her as someone who stood up when it cost her everything. So she's anchoring him now. And then John O'Keefe is present, but he's quieter. He's in witness mode. He's not rushing Craig. He's holding space like a brother who's been through it. He's not trying to tell Craig what to do. He's just watching. "When you're ready, I'm here. I know the pattern, and I know what they did." And there's an unknown to me, a male presence. It stands on Craig's left. His hand is on his shoulder. He's older, possibly a guide or an ancestor, and he feels tied to the truth, to justice and resetting the scale. He said, "What was inverted will be made right. Speak when you are ready. Your voice will break the chain." And that's when Craig started softening. He didn't speak, but he just was gentler, and he's breathing again in spirit. This is the beginning of his return. And so I did a ritual for him, and I will do that in a separate recording. This is a soul retrieval for Craig Casey. I call back the parts of my intention is to call back the parts of the scattered soul from trauma, betrayal, confusion, and violence. I call in sacred space. I anchor this work in truth, light, and love. I call in the guides and the guardians of Craig's higher self, especially those who knew him in life and love him still. I declare no distortion, no deception, and no interference. Only the light may enter. And then I lit a candle. And I called in his higher self. Craig, I speak to your higher self, the radiant whole part of you, untouched by harm and infinite in wisdom. I ask your permission to assist in calling back all lost pieces of your soul washed in white light. Only those parts that are ready, willing, and aligned with your healing may now return. All else will remain in safekeeping. And then this is the invocation of return. I drew a spiral clockwise and I spoke loudly. By the power of the spiral, I call back all soul fragments of Craig Casey that were lost in trauma, confusion, betrayal, and pain. I call them back now, washed in white light, purified in source, and returned in strength and safety. From the body, return. From the moment of collapse, return. From the hands of those who harmed you, return. From any astral entrapment or manipulation, return. Craig, you are not stuck. You are not broken. What has been taken is being restored. And then I put both hands on my heart and I said, I now ask for these pieces to be reintegrated with love, not as they were, but as they were meant to be, whole, free, and bright. Craig, may your soul return to you now, like golden thread reweaving through every cell, every memory, every timeline. We bless what returns, and we bless what is still healing. We seal this with peace, power, and presence. And then in closing, I said, Craig, you are not alone. You are seen, you are honored, and you are restored. The parts of you that were silenced are singing again. The record is being rewritten. The truth is rising. You are safe to be whole again. By the power of my I am presence, I now command. It is done, it is done, it is done. By the power of three, a perfect trinity, it is done. And so it is.
Wanna see you out that door, baby.